Focus on is the thing that was most disturbing to me. I was under the impression that as a poll challenger, our primary responsibility is to make sure before a vote is cast that ballot is either in the registered poll book, the computer book, or in the paper poll book, of which anytime as a challenger I tried to look at the ballot and then try to verify it, I would get 2 or 3 of the poll workers literally screaming at me to get back 6 feet. However, we did not know that had been overturned the night before, which would have been helpful. But at no time were we able actually to physically see the ballot and then see it in the poll electronic book. The person opening the ballot would probably be sitting where Senator Theis is, and the electronic screen that we were supposed to be watching is basically to where the committee clerk is. Now, I don't know if you guys got binocular vision, but I don't. So I cannot look at a ballot over here, run down to this screen, and be able to see it and verify that it is the same. I did address that with them multiple times, and they told me, sorry, I should have planned better. Plan better as to how, needing binoculars. I mean, we as a poll challenger are supposed to verify the name, address on the ballot to the electronic poll book. And if it is not there, then it is supposed to be in a paper poll book, of which there was a significantly large poll worker. Anytime that I said that is not in the book, when she would scan it, it would not come up on the screen, then she would basically hover over this paper book, sometimes checking something, and other times we could see that they did not check it. And then they proceeded to manually enter these into the electronic poll book, where then they would come up on the screen. Many of these papers were not absentee ballot, the yellow envelope, the standard ballot. Some of them were on printed paper. Some of them were in white envelopes. Some of them had multiple papers attached to them. So then they would manually enter them into the electronic book. And I wrote down as many as I could see as quickly as they were entering them, of which you have before you. Now this, in disclosure, due to my travel schedule, I did not see I was supposed to submit this in writing. So what you have before you is the same testimony that I submitted to Robert Steele.
You can submit at a later time. I mean, if you don't have it now, you can write it up.
But basically, it is the same thing that I submitted, and I printed you a copy. So yesterday, my husband and I attempted to verify these addresses. Out of the 8 or 9 addresses here, we were only able to verify that there was one voter that actually lived at this address. And I can present to you one voter. I don't want to say their name, but you have it. This is their address that they show on their voter registration card. This is a church, of which it is illegal to register to vote anywhere but at your home address. So,
thank you very much.
Thank you. And I'll provide that to you.
Was there a question from a member?
Oh, sorry. I assume that was my 3-minute time.
Yes, it was. Thank you very much. That's her written testimony from before, but she might have sent us an amendment, she said so. Okay, next we have Chris Shornack, followed by Kelly Esper, and after that, Christina Karamu. Thank you. Welcome to the Senate Oversight Committee, Chris.
Thank you, Chairman McBroom. Dear Chairman, I was a poll challenger with the Nonpartisan Election Integrity Fund, both on Tuesday, November 3rd and Wednesday, November 4th. On Tuesday, I was a poll challenger for the city of Royal Oak, where only 10 ballots out of the 25,000 ballots were spoiled and not able to be matched to the QVF, qualified voter file. Royal Oak ran their absentee ballot counting board perfectly. The chain of custody was broken at the absentee counting board in Detroit. How? I watched as hundreds and thousands of ballots came in that poll workers were not able to verify in the QVF nor the paper logbook. Yet, that ballot was removed from the secrecy sleeve, bunched together with other verified ballots, counted and ran through the high-speed tabulators. I have a sworn affidavit of this and have attached it to my public statement. I was able to challenge only 2 of these ballots and get them entered into the electronic record. I attempted to challenge more, but the poll workers simply refused, verbally attacked me, and had others do the same. Since then, I volunteered with Guard the Vote. Over the last 3 weeks, Guard the Vote had over 1,000 volunteers painstakingly go through 30,000 of the 172,000 absentee votes in the city of Detroit and found the following results, which I've brought with me here. 229 of these 30,000 we went through are deceased. We have proof of this. Senator Lucido, you were asking for proof. 2,660 of them, invalid addresses described by vacant lots and burnt down houses. I have a genuine question. Can someone in this room tell me how a deceased person can vote? Nonetheless, at the very lowest levels, if these percentages carry through, this means that of the 172,000 AV votes in the city of Detroit, 1,300 of them could be deceased. We're investigating it. Another 15,000 could have fraudulent addresses described as living on vacant lots or burnt down houses. What I can say for sure and swear to you here today, I can say that overall, 8.9% of the 30,000 absentee ballots that we've gone through and investigated just in the city of Detroit were unqualified, fraudulent ballots that should have been spoiled. And again, I have this printed out on the list. It's available for all of you. Why should this alarm you? Because this confirms that the city of Detroit poll workers were not properly performing a crucial step of verifying ballots in the qualified voter file, corrupting the whole chain of custody. And despite that, as I've sworn in my affidavit, and so as many others, those ballots were in fact counted and ran through the high-speed tabulators. We can prove there is fraud, which should disturb all of us. Isn't that the officials who are supposed to care and do something about this? They don't want to even listen to the fraud that we know exists. I would plead to everybody's sense of truth and justice to fair and honest elections. Are you listening? Will you even remember my name in 30 seconds? Say my name, Chris Shornack. Say my name, Chris Shornack. I do thank you for your time, and I hope for the love of God, truth, and fair elections that you will take the proper action and void the election in Wayne County.
Thank you. Senator Lucido has a question, please.
Thank you, Chris Shornack.
Thank you, Senator.
He doesn't even have it written in front of him.
And you know what's interesting? I grew up with a Shornack family in St. Clair Shores, so I appreciate you coming out. Yeah, you intrigued me. These 30,000 dead people that voted.
Well, not 30,000 dead people. 174,000 absentee ballots were counted in Detroit, and we were starting to go through them. We only got through 30,000 of them. Of that 30,000, 229 of them are deceased.
Okay. So now, what have you done to further your investigation? I know you started it. Have you turned any of this data over to the U.S. Attorney's Office, which is the United States criminal justice system, or to our Attorney General? These are the top law enforcement officials of this state. And I guess what I'm asking is,
why haven't I done anything with it?
Well, you brought it to the legislature. We are lawmakers. We're policy people. Some of us are even wonks, like I guess his name is Senator Patrick Kolbeck, which we all respect. At the end of the day, I would love to see some of these things turned over with a CC to the Oversight Committee, because what we've learned is that I know the chairman and the other members of this committee are working real hard to start to look at policy and fashion legislation that will ban, bar, and vitiate all of these concerns. It's very tough to do, but at the end of the day, this needs to go to the Attorney General's office. If there is people that have died and are voting in an election, that needs to be brought to her attention, as well as the United States Department of Justice that ensures voting, as well as the respect of our Constitution.
I can assure you that's going to be done. I stand here representing over 1,000 volunteers, and they got my word. And I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm volunteering like everybody else behind me. And this is new to me. I'm a hack, but I do know that we're going to follow this up, and we're going to get it to those exact same people. And
we appreciate that. And I got to tell you, the concerns that everybody sitting in here, outside, in the other overflow rooms have are genuine, legitimate, but more importantly, they need to be brought to our attention as policymakers, not court of law. This is not a judge sitting here. He's a committee chairman, respected in his communities as we are all in ours. We're elected officials. but we don't wear robes and we don't make decisions on what is going on here. But we will listen to it for policy purposes to ensure the sanctity and security of the voting system. Thank you very much, Mr. Chris Shornack.
Thank you, Senator.
Mr. Shornack, the file folder that you have there, are we going to receive copies of that for the
I
record?
printed out one copy, and I tell you what, you can have my copy too.
Thank you.
So you'll have 2 copies of that. And I did cut my testimony a little short. It's slightly longer.
I appreciate
wanted
that.
to keep it under 3 minutes and respect everybody's time. But yeah, let me give you this.
If you don't have the opportunity to give me the doubles now, I mean, later is fine. I just,
Okay.
whatever's convenient
Let's
for you.
do that so we can speed this along.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Not seeing any others. Thank you, Mr. Shornack. Appreciate your time. Next, we have Kelly Esper, followed by Christina Caramal, and then will be Monica Palmer. Ms. Esper, welcome to the Senate Oversight Committee. You have 3
Senator
minutes.
Hello, everybody. I'm here today as a registered Michigan voter, a mother, an educator, and a precinct delegate. I volunteered my time with the Election Integrity Fund to be a nonpartisan poll challenger. I worked at the TCF Center from 6:30 in the morning until approximately 9 o'clock at night. Throughout my training, I was told that the poll workers should not even have pens or pencils at the table. Shortly into the whole process, 150 tables simultaneously started duplicating ballots. And by the admission of several of the people, who are like the supervisors in Detroit, they had 10 to 12 Republican poll workers. So when you think about this, ballots were being duplicated in mass by 3 Democrat poll workers at a time. Where was the oversight in that? I also witnessed a August 4th primary ballot come in, to which they decided they would go ahead and duplicate it to a general election ballot. I also witnessed several of the poll workers yelling, cussing, all kinds of nasty things at a lot of the poll challengers, including myself. I'm trying to think what else I saw. I'm trying to cut it short. I did submit my whole testimony. But other than that, I mean, it was just rampant going on all night. I tried to raise challenges and was denied several times. So I know that there were things going on that were not lawful and should not have been going on. It does not give us a free and fair election, and that's why I'm here to tell you.
Thank you, Ms. Esper. Could you tell me what happens when you as a poll challenger issue a challenge to a ballot and they say, I'm not going to accept that? I mean, is there a justification given?
So it's in my testimony, but I will tell you that the first time I tried to do a challenge, the supervisor of that table handed me a book of rules and told me no, and the process would continue.
And subsequent times, I mean, was there any direction given as to what was invalidated about your challenge?
No.
Were you able to
Just
challenge
denied.
any ballot successfully?
Just denied.
Did you see any of the other challengers successfully challenge a ballot?
I did not.
Okay. Any other members have a question? Okay, thank you very much for your testimony.
Thank you.